everybody, it's Amy from Winterwood Studio and welcome to my cold, snowy studio today. This week's video is another mishmash video. You guys seem to really be liking them, so that's what we're doing today. It is a fun video. I have some exciting news to share, possibly super exciting news to share. And then I'm going to also be talking about, I've been having some art fear. And I haven't talked about it yet because I'm feeling a little unsure about it. I'm trying to face that fear this week. So I will talk to you a little bit about that and tell you what's going on. And then also we are going to be doing, well, I'm going to show you how to prepare a sketchbook to oil paint in. And then I will show you a couple of little studies I did in mine. So grab yourself something cozy to drink, come on in, and let's chat for a little bit. Okay, so this truly is like a mishmash video, and I thought we could talk a little bit about the possibly exciting news first. So, I opened my email a couple days ago, and there was an email there from Craftimo, and they wanted to know if I would be interested in designing my own brush set, and I was like, yes, please. I knew who they were because I follow like Sarah Byrne Studio and Gretel, I'll say her last name wrong, Lusky, and Ham Rib Art and I always said Pipa's art. I always want to say hers wrong too. And they have all done brush sets for Craftimo. You get to pick the size and shape of the brush you want, the colors, the colors of the metal, even the stiffness of the bristles, and then you get to design the art for the box, which is super exciting. But if you noticed all those people I just listed compared to myself, I'm nowhere near in their league, like for, you know, subscribers and followers and whatever. So like, it's great that they, like, I would love to do it. It would be like a dream come true, but they do want to know like how many of you would actually maybe be interested in it. Which, you know, I don't blame them because obviously not in the same league as all those great people. So there is a poll up on the community tab on my YouTube page, and I will link it down below too, because they do want like a rough idea of how many people would possibly be interested in that. So if you could just go and vote, I'd appreciate it. And if enough of you are interested, then I might get to design my very own brush set, which would be absolutely awesome. So please vote and thank you. Okay, now on to the rest of the video. Welcome to another mishmash video. I guess that's what I'm calling them. I was gonna be all fancy and call them art chats. Oh, hello. Hello, come on up. Do you want to say hi? Come on, up here, come on, up here. Whoa! This is our dog. Her name is Belle. All right. She came to say hi. She heard me talking and I left the door open. Yeah, so normally I was going to be all fancy and call these like art chats or something fancy, but somehow they're just mishmash videos. Aren't they, Belle? Oh, she said yes. So it is Tuesday morning. Yesterday was filled up with doctor's appointments and my first physical therapy, and my son is having some health issues, so we're starting this video today. I guess she's going to walk around and make a noise. Yes, I know, I'm talking. Normally I shut the door. Okay, I have to, no, her tail. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it. I think you can. This is my, I think a Stillman and Birn sketchbook. I've got it clipped shut, so it's hard to, yeah, it is. It's the Stillman and Birn Nova series sketchbook. And it is toned paper. And I have this prepped and ready to go to do some oil painting studies in. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how to do that this week. I never know what to say at the start of these because sometimes my plans change during the week. I also know that I'm going to be working a little bit more on my marker leopard this week. Marker and colored pencil. That's going to be the January Patreon tutorial this month. The first part, let's see, should be up already by the time this video is up. I'm just posting, like I'm breaking it into hour chunks and putting it up as I go, because it is faster that way. Sometimes I'll drop stuff down below if my plans change drastically. I would also really like to work on some acrylic textural type paintings. I'm waiting for a couple more things for my next art haul that I need to work on those paintings. I don't know if they're gonna make it this week. It's saying Thursday right now, but we had a really bad snowstorm, so and it's really cold too. It was super cold yesterday. The kids didn't have school because it was a holiday, and then today was an optional day where if it's too cold, you can just say I'm not taking my kids to school and they excuse it. I think when we got up this morning it was, I think, -11 with a wind chill of -27. I think. I can't remember. It's like noon right now and it's still like -3 with a wind chill of -21, but I did take the kids to school. They are over there and hopefully enjoying their day. So let's get going and see what we can make this week. So I don't know if you can, it's probably too glary. I've got a couple reference photos. I got these all from Pixabay, I think. I'm pretty sure it was Pixabay this week, and I'm going to do a little bit of sketching, oil paint sketching or studies in my sketchbook. And I'm dealing with one of those things where it's been a while since I've used oil paints, and I don't know if anybody else is like that, but if I don't use a medium for a while, like a month or longer, I start to worry that I don't remember how to do it. So I'm actually feeling kind of anxious to do this, and I thought doing it in the sketchbook would maybe make things a little bit less anxious-y. So I'm going to be working in there, and I'll probably right now pop in the footage of preparing these for oil paints. You can do it one of two ways. I'm assuming you're seeing the time lapse of me doing this now while I'm talking. You can either do a acrylic medium, which is what I did here. If you're going to do that, so the reason to do an acrylic medium would be if you're using tone paper like I am here. If you use the acrylic medium, then the tone paper shows through because that dries clear. So I've got the left-hand side is done with 2 coats of Liquitex matte medium, and the right-hand side is done with 2 coats of Liquitex gloss medium. And if you watched my video a while back, I'll link it down below where I was talking about some of the stuff I got and arranging my art cart with my supplies. I couldn't remember why I got the Liquitex gloss medium. It was for this. The gloss medium, so I've heard some people who have tried this say they like the matte medium better because it's a little more absorbent. But then I've heard other people say they like the gloss medium better because it's less absorbent. So I figured why not try out both of them. If you're going to use just the medium as your primer for your paper, you need at least 2 coats. You can do more if you want. If you're going to use gesso, like if you want to gesso your sketchbook page, you need at least 1 coat of the medium and then the gesso on top. Gesso is somewhat absorbent, and I would highly suggest if you're oil painting on paper that you use at least 1 coat of the acrylic medium underneath the gesso, or at least 2 coats if you're using it alone, to avoid the oils leaching into the paper and destroying the paper. That's why you don't typically see oil painting on paper, because the oil paints destroy the paper. So you need to make a barrier there. As far as the whole subscription fiasco of 2024, it continues. It is ongoing. I am still having a period during each day where in about 8 to 10 minutes a huge chunk of my subscribers are deleted. I don't think YouTube can or will help, so I'm asking you, please check your subscription, make sure you're still subscribed. I have people telling me they've been unsubscribed many times, like not just once or twice, but I have people who have been telling me they've had to resubscribe every day. So I'm really sorry for the trouble. I really hope you stick with me and keep resubscribing until whatever it is that's going on is over, because it's kind of heartbreaking. But yeah, so anyway, that's enough about that. I think you can see it. I'm trying to see my easel and the canvas and my new daylight lamp. I'm really excited to try it. I really am hopeful that I'll be able to film some good painting videos now here for YouTube. I've really been struggling with that. This daylight lamp was my 1-year anniversary gift to myself. By the time you see this, my 1-year anniversary here on YouTube will have come and gone. My anniversary is January 15th, so yay! 1 year! I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm doing this. It's crazy. Okay, so we're over here at my work desk. Let's turn the light on. And I've got a couple reference photos picked out. And I am going to be using my Winton oil paints. These are the best. I've talked about them before. This is what I think is the best oil paint for beginners to learn with if you don't want to spend a lot of money. All the colors are still light fast, which if you've watched my channel, you know is important to me. But they're not super, super expensive. So I think I mentioned it already, but if not, I've got these two squares are primed with 2 coats of the Liquitex matte medium. I've got my art cart here next to me. Maybe I can grab it. The matte medium, and then this is the gloss over here. So 2 coats, and I let it dry overnight. These are going to be more along the lines of a study. I'm trying to ease myself into oil paints again. It's been a couple months since I've used them, and I think I said in the intro that I haven't used something for a while, I start to worry that I'm not going to remember how to do it. So I thought this would be a fun way without, you know, worrying about ruining a canvas or everything. My dog's in here now. Go lay down, Belle. Go lay down. Go lay down, Belle. Okay, so while we go over these 2 time lapses, I thought we would talk a little bit about feeling fear as an artist and doing stuff anyway. And honestly, if I'm being honest, it's more than just not having used oils in a few months. So just going back a little bit, the backstory, I've talked about it before, is that I went to school. I started out as pre-med. I got a C in chemistry, and I switched to a double major in art history and studio art, and my emphasis was on oil painting. I then, I had 3.5 years done of university, college, whatever you want to call it, where you live, and I got sick. Most of you, well, I assume probably most of you know I have the autoimmune disease, Crohn's disease. It affects my body, attacks itself in like my intestines, so I have a lot of like bleeding holes in my intestines, but it also affects some of my other organs like my liver and my joints. And because I've had a lot of uncontrolled inflammation, I've had 2 precancerous tumors removed from my stomach already. So I had to quit school. And then for a space of almost 20 years, maybe it was more like 19, I did not paint anything. I think maybe twice during that time I picked up my oil paints and tried to paint something, and I didn't. Partially it was because I was, you know, getting married and having kids and dealing with my illness, and I was trained as a jeweler, and I worked as a jeweler for a long time, so that was sort of creative as well. And then, you know, nights and weekends, I was writing. I had a little bit of a writing career in there for a while. I think I've talked about that on here at some point, but today's not the day for that. And then I think it was with the shutdowns, the lockdowns, I started drawing because I was feeling really stressed. And I did eventually pick up my paintbrushes, and the truth is that I could not oil paint with the same level of skill that I could 20 years ago. So I essentially not totally had to relearn everything that I knew, but a big chunk of it. And it made me feel not good. Not good. I went from being pretty proficient in it and, you know, good enough to like be going to school for it to like not remembering how to layer stuff and not remembering how the paint behaves and not remembering how to make the brush strokes. And so in fact, I went back to the very beginning. I started with just plain drawing with the pencils. I went to pen and ink. Then I went to watercolor. Actually, I think I went pen to ink and then to colored pencil. And then I went to watercolor, And then I went from watercolor to watercolor and colored pencil and gouache and mixed media. And then I started learning acrylics. And the one thing about all of these other things, aside from drawing, was I did not go to school for those. So I am being brutally honest here when I say I have a real fear of trying to get back into oil painting, because every time I pick up the brush, I know that I'm not where I was, and I know that I'm not as good as I was, and I know that my skill level isn't where it was, and it plays mind games with my head, essentially. Like, it's really like it when I realized how much I had forgotten and how I would basically be starting over, it just felt awful. It felt like, why did I do this to myself? Why am I doing this to myself, trying to learn how to do it again? Is it even worth it? Why? It was just this whole, and then I had the whole imposter syndrome. Like, if I forgot, I must not have been that good to start with. And I must not have any talent because I should have been able to remember this. And I was really, really hard on myself about it, because, if you have a skill and you don't practice it for 20 years, yeah, you're going to lose quite a bit of it. But I don't remember where I was going with that. I know I had a B point, but I forgot what it was. So I guess this story is going out to all of you out there who are afraid. I'm still afraid. Working in this sketchbook lately has felt like a more low pressure way to try to relearn everything. Right when I first started getting back into it, I picked up a couple of canvases and I painted on them, and I hated it. And I was like, I wasted a canvas. I wasted my good paints. It was like such a deal. But using the Winton paints in a sketchbook, it suddenly takes the pressure off. Like, I know I'm not trying to create something saleable. Nobody's going to see it. I'm going to be, I'll let it dry and then eventually shut the book, and nobody has to look in it if I don't want to. And it's really taking the pressure off for me, and making it more about enjoying the process again. The whole reason that I like art, and even from the very beginning, one of the whole reasons I got into it was because it made me feel good. It made me forget the hard things. I would get into the flow, and hours would pass, and I would look up and it would be like 3 hours later, and it would have felt like no time passed, and there was no worrying and no anxiety, and it was just my safe, happy place. And I'm trying to find a way back to that. I have been, pretty concentrated as I was making the art. Like, is this good enough to share on social media? Is this good enough to share on YouTube? And instead of worrying about, like, is this helping me? Do I feel good doing this? Am I having joy? Am I growing as an artist? Am I learning what I need to learn? Am I pushing the boundaries of stuff I know I'm not good at so that I can get better? Instead of doing all those things, and I've talked about this on here too as well, I've sort of gotten hyper-focused on, the whole social media aspect and the whole sharing aspect of it, which is funny because lately I have really realized, looking at the analytics of my videos, people like more the life of an artist than step-by-step tutorials. I mean, I'll always get comments from people saying they wish that I would do more tutorials, but every time like I actually do a tutorial, on YouTube, you open the page and that big sign flashes up and it says like, this video is 1 out of 10, or this video is 5 out of 10, or this video is 10 out of 10. And that means that it's the worst video you've done in the last 28 days. And consistently, the tutorials have been ranking 10 out of 10. Whereas things like this, my art studio vlogs and the art hauls, and also trying new supplies, those all rank well. Those are all in like the top, 4 or so, which is really what I shoot for, because I am trying to make this, my job. So I've been keeping the full length tutorials over on my Patreon, and just, I guess, hoping for the best over here. I don't want people to be disappointed that I'm not making as much like tutorials, but I really want to grow as an artist and be an artist. I want to be an artist who does YouTube, not a YouTuber who does art. And I've said that before as well. And it's really important to me. And I think like these time lapses and stuff and showing my process, that's all fine. And I do like teaching. It just doesn't seem to go over very well on here, I guess. So I was just filming the voiceover that you were just listening to, and Ms. Dita is drinking some water over there, so she's making some clicking noises, but it's going to be time for my live stream here in a minute, so, and I've noticed my throat is getting sore. I think I'm getting my husband's cold, so, yeah, I hope what I was saying in the voiceover makes sense. And I would love any like comments or concerns or ideas that you guys have, because I do want to make videos that you guys want to see. Do you like videos like this? And then, going back to the whole, I want to be an artist who does YouTube, not a YouTuber who does art. I would really like to use this as a place to, share my tips and tricks and have fun with you guys and form a community and try new things and show you my supplies. But it's January and I missed it wasn't because of YouTube, it was mostly because of my shoulder, but I missed the deadline for the Pastel Society of America again. Again. The next one is in March. I'm supposed to have surgery on my shoulder in March, so I don't know. But I would like to, one of my dreams has always been to apply both to the Oil Painter Society of America, which has been hard because all the issues with the oil painting I've just been talking about, but also I'd like to try to apply to the Pastel Society of America and eventually like enter some of their juried shows. If I felt like I was good enough. My throat is really hurting. I'm definitely getting sick. So like I think like going forward, I want to share more of my journey, like what I'm doing, and my process each week and what I'm going through, and what I'm working on and what I'm learning and the supplies I'm using, because that also gives me, it frees up a little more time for me to actually work on art for me and not just necessarily tutorials and whatnot. I will always do tutorials over on my Patreon. That goes without saying. I may still occasionally do them here, but I think like you might see bits and pieces or like a whole time lapse, beginning to end like you just did with my the oil painting in the sketchbook. But I guess I'm gonna as the Unexpected Gypsy would say, I'm going on the no plan from here on out. I'm going to continue to try to make the videos that are popular while also still working on my dreams and my goals and my ambitions. And we'll just go on the no plan and see how things go. Anyway, it is snowing super hard. It is almost time for the live stream. My throat hurts. I'm gonna go make a cup of tea. Thank you for being here with me today. All the info for Patreon and any of the supplies I used and all of that will be linked down below if you'd like to see any of it. And I hope you had a good time. And until next time, happy creating.